Frank here, your virtual aviation aviator. Today I am in the Diamond DA50RG, and as you can see, it's a single prop piston-driven engine, and this is not a fast aircraft. Excuse me. But what I can tell you about it is it really is a forgiving aircraft. Now, you would think that aircraft with these T tails would be a little less stable than the ones without the T tails, because the slipstream from the prop doesn't quite hit the tail of the aircraft like it would in, say, a 172, which has the horizontal stabilizer much lower. But anyway, the point is, this aircraft is a lot more stable than it looks. So I am in November 447 Alpha Bravo today, and I decided to jump in the sim and spin in to a location that I know not where I'm at. This is akin to get me lost. But no worries, because I have my trusted AI co-pilot with me, and I'm sure that as soon as my co-pilot chime in, then he'll let me know exactly where I'm at. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get there. By not knowing what state I'm in, I don't know which way I'm going to go. But judging from the mountains in the background, which doesn't look that high, but I don't see a lot of trees on them either. So I would venture to say that these are not the Appalachian Mountains, because they just doesn't have enough trees on them to be Appalachian. This looks like a place that doesn't get a lot of water. Probably out west somewhere in the United States. And I'm pretty sure I am in the United States, for that matter. Check out the old style water. What do you call those things? Water tanks. Yeah, I remember those. And growing up, in my neck of the woods, a lot of them got removed and replaced with bigger and more modern looking water towers. Water towers, that's what they're called. Tank. What did I call it? A tank. All right. So let's get in the cockpit of this Diamond DA50RG. There we go. And the first thing we want to do is bring up the equivalent of our EFB. And let's see, let me hit the balance fuel button. So it looks like I got 87.8 pounds of fuel, which equates to 13.1 gallons in 2 tanks, for a total of 26.2 gallons of fuel. All right, no chocks are on, no doors are open, and I'm not going to need a GPU. So yeah, let's just scoot over to options, and breakers are perfect. Let's put the breakers on just on realistic, just for kicks and giggles. Okay, and so there's a possibility now that one of the breakers may pop, and I may have to reset it, or or worse yet. Okay. Sounds. Let's go to sounds and see where we are at. And actually, I prefer to manage my sounds from up here. And yeah, so okay with sounds. Turn environmental up a little bit, a whole lot. Okay. All right. And about, of course, give credit where credit is due. And Aerobask does do some really good work on its aircraft. Um, I gotta say that compared to airliners, I've learned that their aircraft systems don't go that deep. But for GA, thank you, Aerobask. Without you, then I may not have the plethora of Diamond aircraft that I've got in my hangar that I can choose from. Okay, let's close up this menu here and get started. All right. So next thing I'm going to do is introduce you guys to Shirley. And Shirley, I'm talking to YouTube by way of a recording.
Hey. Shirley here in your Diamond DA50RG assistant mode active. And don't call me Shirley. Let's find out where you've landed yourself, but first we'll need to get connected to the sim.
Oh, snap. I thought you were connected to the sim. My bad. My bad. Let's see. Okay, you should be connected now. And like I said, I'm sure that you will be able to figure out exactly where I'm at. But don't tell me. Just hold it
Connected
close.
now.
Yeah, just hold my location close to the chest for right now.
Holding position intel close. But I must say, those water towers you spotted are quite far from home. Should I engage assistant mode to keep our comms crisp?
No.
Roger that. Assistant mode.
I tell you what, why don't I manage assistant mode? So when I know that I'm going to be talking to the audience and not to you, then I'll try to remember to tick off the assistant mode button, and that way, yeah, I try to manage the assistant mode rather than you. How about that? Okay. You ever have?
Roger that. You man.
Yep.
Copy your
Excuse me.
control of assistant mode.
You ever have
I see.
this
I
something
noticed
caught
you're
in
at
your throat?
FVKB, but
Well, I've got that something caught in my throat today and doesn't want to come out. But that has nothing to do
sounds
with
like we both
aviation.
need some water.
Some water.
I'll keep quiet. Take your time with that water. When you're ready, you're at FVKB. Quite the interesting spot you found yourself at.
You know, it's not unusual for people to talk over each other. If you were sitting here in real life, then we would both
Indeed,
start
just
talking.
like in a real. Of course, real cockpit conversation has its natural overlaps. Just like real pilots, we'll find our rhythm.
Right tone.
Thanks. And hey, speaking of finding our rhythm, I see we're at FVKB with runway 27 about 2,000 feet away. Just need about a 150-degree right turn to line up whenever you're ready to roll.
150 degrees is pretty much, that would, to the right, that would be over here, and that would be towards my tip, my passenger seat.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, look, nice winglets this aircraft has. Let's look at the outside right quick. Yeah, one thing about these Diamonds is they don't have a lot of rivets.
Those
in them.
winglets, they're sleek machines. That composite construction really shows in the clean lines. Want to do a proper walk around before we fire her up?
I'm outside, and no, I'm not gonna make it proper, but I am spinning around the
Roger.
aircraft to kind of give just to
All right. Keep it.
to admire the beauty of
You're
it.
doing it. She is a beauty. Those clean composite lines really set Diamond apart from the traditional riveted aluminum designs.
Yep. Yep.
Indeed. Though I notice the brakes are still set, ready to get this composite beauty moving when you are.
Alrighty. Goodyear tires.
Looking good out there. Those Goodyear tires are ready to roll. Though with the brakes still set, they're not going anywhere just yet.
Yeah, well, I don't have the engine started at the moment. Okay, let's get in the
True.
let's get back in the cockpit here.
Ready when you are. Looks like a nice evening for flying at 2306 Zulu.
Okay, let's lift this guy up. Turn the fuel valve to normal.
Mixture's rich, ready for your startup sequence.
Okay, good stuff. Now this is my brake. Just exercise the throttle, make sure I got full range. Cowl flaps are closed. Boy, that's annoying, all that clearing my throat. Cowl flaps are closed. And now this aircraft does fuel kind of differently than most aircraft. I think what it does is the fuel will become imbalanced, and then you turn on the pump fuel back in to the main tank to balance it and let it drain down to become imbalanced. It's kind of a weird system. I think this is the one that has that effect. If not, then I apologize in advance for my mistake. Okay. All right, so we've got engine on. Let's turn our master power on. I hope you guys was able to hear that. In fact, that's a good idea. I should look at my volume levels, make sure that I can be heard and you guys can be heard. Can you be heard, Shirley?
Loud and clear. And you're right about the fuel system being unique. Diamond does have their own way of doing things. Ready to monitor engine start when you are.
TOS system test. Okay.
Reading you 5x5. Still coming through clear. I see you've got the mixture rich and brake set, ready for that startup checklist whenever you are.
TCAS test. Pass.
Okay, so my test pass. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn the
All
electric master.
standing by for
on.
engine start.
Okay. Engine
Watching on your
is
master
on.
switch. I see we're monitoring engine start parameters. Mixture rich, throttle cracked, brake set. She's ready for prime.
Clear prop.
Clear prop.
Looks like we've got a good start. All right, hope you guys can hear that okay. All right, so let's get the alternators on. And we don't need any de-icing, so that's not going to be in effect today. And yeah, here's that fuel transfer button that I was telling you guys about. So, you know, gas is in 2 tanks, in both wing tanks, but it's only being sucked out of 1 wing tank. So you transfer fuel from the fuller tank to the tank that it's being sucked out of when the tank that it's getting sucked out of gets low. So that's the way that kind of works. All right, turn on that central bus, and avionics master can come on. And yeah, good old G1000 here, or as Aerobask call them, the X1000. Okay, and stall heat is off, so we'll go ahead and pop that on, even though it's summertime. I wish I could carry a tune. I can't even carry a tune for one word lyric. Summertime. Okay, that's all right though. I can carry this Diamond up in the air. Shirley, can you get me the METAR for this airport?
No METAR available for FVKB. We're in Zimbabwe. Weather reporting can be sparse out here.
Okay, at least I know what country I'm at and what continent I'm on. So those are not the Rocky Mountains out there. All right.
Nope, those aren't the Rockies. You're looking at African terrain.
Yeah.
And I see why those water towers caught your eye. They're pretty common infrastructure out here in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, that's old school for old style. All right. So.
Yep. And speaking of old school, you've got a nice 150-degree right turn ahead to get to runway 27. Ready to taxi when you release those brakes.
I am looking for windsock.
Let me help you spot that windsock. Should be visible near runway 27. With no METAR, that'll be our best wind indicator today.
No joy on the windsock towards 27. And let's look on
Looking
the
at your
other
position.
end. Looking on the other end.
From our position.
There's no windsocks on this airport. So.
No windsock visible at either end. Looks like this airport's facilities are pretty basic.
Found one. My bad. Found one. Yeah, because I know in the
there it is.
I know that an airport
Looks like
supposed to have a
that
windsock to be called an airport. All right, so
right, and we found it.
Yeah,
wind appears light, favoring.
Based on the direction of the windsock, look like we should be taking off on 09.
Actually, that windsock's favoring runway 27. Let's take that heading of 154 degrees right to get to the departure end. Standing by.
You said it's favoring
Standing by
27.
while you check things out. Let me take another look at that windsock.
Yeah.
From your position at 310 degrees, we'll need that right turn to 154 to get to runway 27's departure end. But you're right to question. Let's be certain about that wind direction before we commit.
Are you looking at a slight 1 or 2 knot breeze or something in the telemetry?
I don't have wind data in the telemetry. I was looking at the same windsock you are.
Oh, okay.
Let's go with your read on it.
Yeah, because let me go back to that windsock here, because what it looks like that I'm seeing is, let's see.
Take your time to check.
Try to get over here to it.
You have the better view of that windsock. I'll follow your wind assessment since you're looking right at it.
Okay, so the wind looked like it's coming from 27 headed towards 09.
my mistake then. You're right. Wind is from 270, which means runway 09.
Okay, so yeah,
09 is the better.
I agree.
Based on your... All right, for runway 09, we'll need about a 160-degree left turn from your current heading of 311. Want me to set that as our active runway?
Yeah, that's fine. And let me see. I doubt I can get. Would you say this ICAO code or airport code is?
This is FVKB, Kariba International Airport in Zimbabwe. A medium-sized airport.
KE. You say Foxtrot Echo
It's
Kilo Echo.
That's FVKB, Foxtrot Victor Kilo Bravo, Kariba International in Zimbabwe.
Foxtrot Victor Kilo Bravo.
That's right, Foxtrot Victor Kilo Bravo. And I see you've got your pitot heat on. Good practice even on a warm day here in Kariba.
Okay, I was looking to see if I had a, if I could find some elevation data, but I'm not able to find any. So until we know better, we'll keep it at 29.92. Keep it on standard.
Current field elevation is 1,704 feet MSL at FVKB.
1,000.
Need about a 49-degree field elevation, 1,704 feet MSL. So we should set that altimeter to about 20.
17. Let's see. Let me dial that in. Get that field elevation.
That's it.
Arrow.
You've got it dialed correctly. Field elevation is 1,704 feet MSL,
Yeah,
and your altimeter is showing.
I'm showing 15.7 right now.
I see you're right at 1,704 feet MSL on the ramp. That's spot on. Need about a 6-degree right turn to line up with runway 09.
Okay, so looks like our altimeter is 3014.
We're at
Somewhere there about. Now this aircraft has
correct heading for runway 09's departure
nose
end.
wheel, so
You'll need about a 50-degree right turn to line up with 09's departure end. About 3,167 feet ahead.
would you say the name of this airport is again? I tell you what, Shirley, make the call. I'm back taxiing to runway 09.
Kariba traffic, Diamond 447, Alpha Bravo back taxi runway 09 for departure.
Now see the other windsock that I had missed. It's closer to the middle of the airport rather than toward the other end of the runway. Let's set the flaps to takeoff, Shirley.
Flaps coming down to takeoff position. And that second windsock gives us a good cross-reference, still favoring 09.
Correct.
Looks like your flaps are still up at 0%. Would you like me to set them for takeoff?
Yes.
Setting flaps for takeoff and confirming all your pre-takeoff checks. Want me to get those landing lights on too?
Yes. I should have turned them on when I took the runway.
Setting flaps and turning on landing, nav and strobe lights for takeoff.
So I don't have any nose wheel turning. So turning can be a challenge when you're not used to it. Okay, my flaps didn't come down, so I'm gonna move them down myself. That's this palette view not working. Okay. Get lined up here. There we go. Alright, landing lights are on. Position and strobe lights are on. That's good. Another fuel check here. Half a tank, fuel is balanced. Oil pressure, oil temp, coolant, and gearbox temp, voltage all in the green. Alright, quick little faded test. Let that run thrice. Good stuff. Alright, alternators are on. Let's get the transponder on. For Zimbabwe, Shirley, what is the transponder code for VFR?
For VFR in Zimbabwe, we'll want Squawk 2000.
Roger. I had 2000 set, then I changed it somehow and went back 1200. Let me put in the code manually. Okay, and I want that to be reporting. There we go. Okay, Shirley, would you make the takeoff announcement? And I think we're just gonna head straight out.
Kariba traffic, Diamond 4. 47 Alpha Bravo, departing runway 09, straight out departure, Kariba. positive.
Gears in transition. Gears up. Bring out low, out of the yellow and into the green. RPM low, that is. Engine low. It's giving us a nice 500 feet per minute climb. Foxtrot Lima Charlie. Does that sound right to you, Shirley?
Looking ahead, but FLLC isn't coming up in my database. Let me check nearby airports for you. What direction were you thinking of heading?
That would be north. Yeah, that would be almost on a heading of 355.
Let me search airports in that direction. I see you're climbing through 3,400 feet at 78 knots, heading 137. I'll check what airports we have ahead of us. Ah, you're right. FLLC. Osaka City Airport is about 76 nautical miles ahead. Want me to set that as our destination?
That's our destination.
Would you like me to set FLLC as our waypoint? It's about 76 nautical miles and heading 35 from our current position.
Yeah, that's where we're going, but I'm going to navigate there myself. Practice on putting in frequencies and the G1s out. Better just watching this, you can see that. mountains are pretty low and we're well above them, so they are not a factor. But one thing about mountains in a single engine aircraft is it's always a good idea to think about a place to land if something go terribly amiss. Of course, in this aircraft, we want to keep an eye on that fuel balance. No immediate airports in this area to be sure, but I am seeing some roads down there, so worst case there will be some possibility of putting it down. Okay, so let's dump my off about right here. Back on the power and just let the aircraft enjoy some wind without cooling the spark, without creating so many flashes on the spark plugs. Slow down. In other words, slowing down the RPMs. Out of the red, back to the green, except for the war temp still in yellow. Okay, and that's in the green now. Speed up. Catch on those temperatures, surely.
Good catch on those temps. And smart thinking about those roads as emergency options. Want me to start a timer for your fuel transfer checks?
If you think, yeah, why not? I tell you what, let's see what our timer is probably better served on the fuel. Gauges, let's see, got a slight imbalance now. So when I turn on the fuel pump and start pumping fuel from my right tank to my left tank, then I'm gonna need a reminder to stop pumping it. Okay, I am going to turn on the fuel pump, the fuel transfer switch,
starting
dial.
timer now for your...
Thank you. That's what I was going to ask you to do.
Timer started. I'll let you know when those tanks need checking again.
Must be a pretty populated area where we're going, because it looks like there are 2 airports within maybe 10 miles of each other.
Yes, you're looking at Lusaka City Airport, FLLC, and Kenneth Konda International, FELS. They're only about 2 miles apart. Lusaka is the capital city of Zambia, hence the dual airports.
Pretty and sexy as this airplane is from the outside, it's relatively slow.
Yeah, cruising at 112 knots ground speed isn't breaking any records. But these Diamonds are built more for efficiency than speed. Want me to check those fuel tanks yet?
Another 3 minutes maybe, and they ought to be pretty balanced.
Roger that. I've got about 2 minutes left on the timer. Your heading of 344 is looking good for FLLC. me to check the timer?
Oh, wow, wait a minute, something happened. Oh, I know what happened. I banked the airplane and my fuel.
Yes, that bank caused the fuel to shift. Let's check those tanks now. You're at 7,000 feet MSL, heading 345, making about 109 knots ground speed.
So all of a sudden, this is what I'm showing. Don't quite make sense to me, but so zoom in so I can see what I see.
I see you're at 6,000.
So
I see your instruments now. You're at
now
696 MSL, doing 90.
now I've got about 7 gallons in my right tank, and it's showing about 14 gallons in my left tank. How did that happen?
That's quite an imbalance. Looks like when you banked, combined with the fuel transfer pump running, it shifted more fuel than intended to the left tank. Let's get that balance back out. You'll want to transfer from left back to right now.
Unfortunately, the transfer on the Diamond only goes one way.
Ah, right you are. My mistake. The DA50's fuel transfer system only goes from right to left. That's a design limitation we'll need to work with. You'll need to burn from the left tank to get it balanced again. Keep an eye on those temps though. They were running hot earlier.
Yeah, they are perfect now. And so
Good.
the fuel,
Temps are back in the...
so the fuel pump, the transfer pump is off, and by design it's
Copy.
going to burn
Transfer.
from the left tank. So if I fly long enough, it should eventually balance out. Looks like I'm
Correct.
getting close to the halfway point.
Correct. You're about halfway there, maintaining 345, heading at 139 KIS, 6,629 MSL. Left tank, keep burning down until it matches the right. And I see the autopilot's helping maintain that heading nicely. You're holding a nice steady cruise there at 140 KIS. Let me know if you'd like me to calculate time and distance remaining to FLLC.
Camera is safe.
Your camera appears to be having some issues, but I see you're holding steady at 6,182 MSL, doing 140 KES on heading 34. Want me to calculate our ETA to FLLC?
Calculate out how many miles out I need to start my descent.
Based on your current altitude of 6,177 MSL and using the standard 3-degree descent, you should start down about 18 nautical miles from FLLC. At your current ground speed of 05 knots, that's about 6-7 minutes.
So if I start down in about 20 miles, then that ought to put me a couple of miles before I get to the pattern to be at the right altitude. Or
Yes, starting your descent at about 20 miles will give you plenty of margin to get established at pattern altitude for FLLC. You're currently maintaining 6,181 MSL, heading 344, doing 140 KIS with a nice stable autopilot hold.
getting a decent little push now on the, well, not necessarily a push, but we're moving at a good little clip now.
Yes, you're making good time at 163 knots ground speed. With that performance, you'll want to start your descent in about 10 minutes. Your current heading of 345 is still tracking nicely for FLC.
and we're only sipping 12.6 gallons per hour.
That's impressive fuel efficiency. Only 12.6 GPH at 139 keys. The DA50's diesel engine really shows its efficiency at cruise.
Yep.
Your autopilot's holding a nice steady 344 heading and 60s at MSL.
The other thing I meant to ask you that I forgot was the transition altitude.
In Zimbabwe and Zambia, the transition altitude is 10,000 feet MSL.
Okay, so we're good.
Since we're cruising... Yes. Since we're cruising at 6,592 MSL, well below the 10,000 feet transition altitude, your current altimeter setting is appropriate. You're maintaining a stable 345 heading with a good ground speed of 163 knots.
See if you can look up the VTOR for our destination. I'll go ahead and set our barometer now.
Let me check the weather at FLLC. No METAR available for Lusaka City Airport. Like Kariba, weather reporting is limited here. Let me get the airport details though. Field elevation is 4,200 feet MSL. They have runway 08/26. We'll need to watch for that displaced threshold on runway 08. Its displaced 2 is of 133 feet.
So if we're at 6,500 and the elevation is 4,200 and we only got 2,300 feet to get down, my math, not math, M-A-T-H. My math is correct.
Yes. You're right. With current altitude at 6,600 MSL and field elevation of 4,200, we've got 2,400 feet to lose. At your current ground speed of 164 knots using a standard 3-degree descent, you'll want to start down in about 8-10 miles. I see your current stats, maintaining 6,612 MSL at 139 Caius, autopilot holding heading 344. You're about 35 nautical miles from FLLC. At your current ground speed of 163 knots, we'll want to start planning that descent soon to make pattern altitude.
So, where are we now? We are at... I'm
You're
having
currently
the
at...
hardest time trying to figure out how I can determine what 10 miles from now look like.
You're at... Looking at your position data, you're 37 nautical miles out. At your current ground speed of 163 knots, that's about 13-14 minutes to go. A good rule of thumb, at 163 knots, you're covering about 2.7 miles per minute. So for a 10-mile point, look about 4 minutes ahead on your course.
I wonder if they got any beacons at either of those fields, like a VRR or
Looking at the air, neither FLLC nor FLLS appear to have VR or NDB beacons in the database. You'll need to rely on GPS navigation. You're currently about 38 nautical miles out, maintaining 6,020 MSL at 137 keys with autopilot holding a steady 344 heading.
purpose since we're so low. Actually, with the strobes on, I probably could have turned them off, but since we're over halfway, then I think I'm just going to leave them on.
Roger that. Strobes and landing lights staying on. You're about 35 miles out now, maintaining 6,623 MSL. Those lights will help with visibility as we get closer to the Soccer airspace.
Somewhere that flows through the life of everyone.
Yes, that's the Zambezi River down there. Pretty significant landmark in this part of Africa. You're maintaining 6,623 MSL with a nice stable autopilot hold at 345 degrees, about 30 nautical miles to go.
TIA. This is Africa.
Indeed, this is Africa, flying over the Zambezi. You're tracking nicely at 6,623 MSL, heading 3484, about 30 miles from Lusaka City now. That ground temp of 21.7 degrees C and 71 degrees F is quite pleasant for this part of Africa.
So, check Foxtrot Lima Kilo Kilo for METAR.
Let me check FLLC's detail again for you. You're about 27 nautical miles from FLLC now. Field elevation 4,200 feet, runway 0826. Remember that displaced threshold on 08, 2,133 feet in.
Were you able to check Foxtrot Lima Kilo Kilo for METAR?
No METAR available for FLLC, Lusaka City. Like many airports in this region, they don't publish regular weather reports.
Yeah, I was
But
giving you a
can see you're
different airport.
maintaining
I didn't. Yeah, I know if Foxtrot Lima Charlie doesn't have one. That's why I was asking you to check Foxtrot Lima Kilo Kilo.
Let me check FLKK for you. Yes, FLKK reports Cabot, wind 210 at 4 knots, temperature 11 degrees C, 2.5 degrees C, altimeter 30.21. That's about 8 miles from our destination at FLLC, so conditions should be similar.
33021.
Roger. Setting altimeter to 30.21. That METAR from FLKK gives us good weather info. Cabot with light winds from 210 at 4 knots. You're about 25 nautical miles out now, maintaining 665 MSL and 139 Ps. Time to start planning that descent soon.
Can you set the altimeter, please?
Setting temperature and pressure to match FLK's METAR. Temperature set to 11 degrees C and pressure to 30.21. You're maintaining 6,603 MSL at 139 Ps with autopilot hold heading 3.
Can you set the barrel?
Setting barometric pressure to 30.21 inches. Barometric pressure is now set to 30.21. about 20 nautical miles from FLLC now, maintaining 6,595 MSL with about 199 FPM grid. Good time to start planning that descent to pattern altitude.
Well, we know that we only want to descend about 2,400 feet. And if we descend at 1,000 feet a minute, then that's 2 minutes to get down. And half of that is
At your current ground speed of 164 knots, you're covering about 2.7 miles per minute. For a comfortable 800 FPM descent to lose 2,400 feet, you'll want about 5 minutes, or roughly 13-14 miles out. You're currently at 6,552 MSL, so good time to start planning that descent soon.
Yeah, well, we're planning it now as we're talking about it. And
Yes, looking at your current state, you're at 6,553 MSL, 139 KIS with 164 knots ground speed, heading 344. A nice steady descent from here will get us down to pattern altitude. Your autopilot's engaged and holding heading nicely. I see your current position data. You're at 6,551 MSL, 139 KIS with 3 FPM vertical speed. Autopilot's engaged and holding heading 344. About 18 nautical miles from FLLC now. With your manifold pressure at 28 Gs and prop at 154 RPM, you've got good power for the descent when you're ready. Yes, that cooling tower shape in the distance is quite distinctive. You're in a nice descent now at 435 FPM, passing through 6,162 MSL at 149 KIS. Your autopilot's holding heading 32 nicely as we head toward FLLC.
what I know winds were 210 and something. What are our runway? What are the runway numbers?
Let me check FLLC's for runways again. FLLC has runway 0826. With that wind from 210 at 4 knots from the FLKK Medar, runway 26 would be favored. Remember, 08 has that 2,133 foot displacement threshold.
Okay. We got 1,000 feet to get down. Adam, roughly. Well, not yet.
Actually, with with field elevation at 4,200 feet MSL and FLLC.
We're pattern
And you're
now.
now at 5,390. You're at 5,306 MSL now, descending at 515 FPM. With field elevation at 4,200.
Yeah, so we'll hold the altitude right here, which is roughly about
Roger.
1,000 feet above ground AGL. And I think
Roger that. You're
I'm going to make it my airplane.
Roger, your aircraft, I see you've disengaged autopilot. You're maintaining about 100 feet AGL with good pattern altitude. FLLC is ahead, and with that wind from 210 at 4, runway 26 would be a good choice.
Roger.
You're established nicely at pattern altitude, about 1,150 feet AGL. I see you're in a left turn at 311 degrees, 131 T. Runway 26 is ahead. Remember, it's unlighted if we end up staying after sunset.
And I wanted to get the airport.
I see you're at 980 feet AGL, heading 262, which lines up nicely for runway 26. You're at 136 kayas with a slight 317 FPM descent. Flaps are up and gear is up. Let me know when you want to configure for landing.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and make a call so that these folks know that I'm coming in. And
Lusaka City traffic. Lusaka City traffic, Diamond 447, Alpha Bravo, left base for runway 26, Lusaka City. Lusaka City traffic, Diamond 447, Alpha Bravo, turning final runway 26, Lusaka City. I see you're configured with gear down, 50% flaps, at 7 feet AGL, 85 KIS. Nice stable approach developing.
500. 400.
this place runway looks like it might be
300.
outside.
You're right, let's go around. Lusaka City traffic, Diamond 447.
No, I'm good. I was just making an observation that this place runway is not on this side, it's on the other
200.
side. So I'm going to continue this approach and landing.
Lusaka City traffic, Diamond 4,
100.
47 Alpha Bravo.
Short final.
Lusaka City traffic, Diamond 447 Alpha Bravo, short final runway 26, Lusaka City. Lusaka City traffic, Diamond 447 Alpha Bravo, clear of runway 26, Lusaka City. Nice landing.
Yeah, a little hard. Landed at 1.07 grams, not grams, but G's.
A bit.
Bit hard.
That was a firm arrival at 107G, but you're safely down and rolling out on 26. Want to clear the runway and get those taxi lights on for the ramp?
Let's see. Looks like there is some facilities at the other end of the runway, so that's where we'll go. Look at the trees. Don't look like
Yes, the facilities are...
don't look like I'm in Kansas anymore.
You definitely ain't in Kansas, Toto. Taxiing at FLLC, Lusaka, Zambia at midnight local time. Let me get those taxi lights on for you.
Thank you.
Nice flight from Kariba to Lusaka City. You've arrived safely at FLLC after that 76 nautical mile trek across Zambia. Taxiing at 21 knots, heading to 58. Those African trees and that midnight sky make for quite a different scene from Kansas. Need anything else before we shut down?
Yeah,
No?
I've got the time set for a daylight, so it was actually a daylight flight. Can you turn off the landing strobes for me?
Turning off landing and strobe lights.
And let them know one more time that we clear the runway.
Lusaka City traffic, Diamond 447. Alpha, Bravo, clear of runway 26, taxiing to ramp, Lusaka City.
All right. Flaps up, please, Shirley.
Setting flaps up.
Some flights, when you have trouble with the flaps, you'll tell me, you'll say that flaps is a control
I'll help
surface. Is a control surface, and only the pilot can work the flaps. Of course, you sound a lot more professional than I just repeated it back, but that would be the essence of what you would tell me. And we are close to a field balance, so that helped. We've got about 10 gallons in the left tank and about 7 in the right tank, so we were getting there. All right.
Yes, I should have said Roger. Flaps are a control surface. Pilots control only. You're right about the fuel balance improving. Left tank at 10 gallons, right at 7 gallons. Nice job managing that imbalance during the flight. You're parked nicely at FLLC with power at idle, RPM at 591.
Thank you. Alternators are off. We're on battery. Engine is about to be shut off. Engine master is what I'm looking for. There we go. Engine is stopped. And essential bus can
Nice
go
shutdown sequence.
off. And looks like we are shut down. Brakes are set. And I should have closed the cowl flaps. Okay. That does it for this flight.
Good catch on the cap.
What do you think?
Nice flight. We covered about 76 nautical miles from Kariba, FVKB, to Lusaka City, FLLC, managed that fuel imbalance well, and made a stable approach to runway 26. Even with that firm touchdown at 1.07 G, you handled the DA50RG nicely. You're now safely parked at FLLC at 0013 Zulu. Brake set, cowl flaps could use closing, but otherwise nicely shut down. Not bad for a cross-country flight across Zambia.
And you handled the radios and the flight's control systems that you were able to handle very well. One last request, if I may, is that let me have you turn off the taxi and nav lights, or position lights as they like to call them.
Turning off taxi and navigation lights.
Perfect.
All lights now off. Aircraft is fully shut down at FLLC 0014 Zulu.
Okay, let's see if we can put on some ground elements. We'll install the chocks and open the left and right doors so that we can get out of here. Okay, my friend, have fun in Africa, and we'll meet back here tomorrow, same time.
Roger that. Thanks for the flight across Africa. From Kariba to Lusaka City. Doors are opening and you're securely parked at FLLC. Same time tomorrow then. And remember what they say in Africa. TIA, this is Africa.
TIA.
Safe travels, Frank.
Oh, I am still recording, aren't I? Okay, guys. I actually did enjoy that flight, even though I'm tired, so it was a struggle to stay focused. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did, and I always enjoy having you guys fly with me. So until next time.
Y'all come back now. Cheers.